In this section, we're going to talk about how to create a script in Scala. For many Java programmers out there, you may not be quite as familiar with scripting, although you may have played with a little bit of scripting in other programming languages. But in Scala, there's no need for a compilation or a public static void main string args. Although Scala programmers tend to compile their code just to make it fast, there is no requirement to do so. So what we're going to be doing in this section is we're going to be creating a file, a script, again without a public static void main string args and without compilation. For this, you'll just need an editor. There are plenty of great ones out there. There's Sublime, which has Scala syntax highlighting. There are some other editors that don't have syntax highlighting, but they're great nonetheless, like Notepad++, TextPad, UltraEdit, Visual Studio Code. For those who enjoy the classics, there's always Vim and Emacs, and there's plenty of syntax highlighting for Scala for both of those editors. If you want to edit code with any IDE, there are some great ones out there. There's Eclipse, and you can download Eclipse with a plugin called Scala IDE, which you can get at scalaide.org. Or you could go to scalaide.org and download an actual full-blown IDE with all the plugins readily available. There's also IntelliJ. Once you download IntelliJ, go to the plugins, and you can download the Scala plugin from there and edit files. There's NetBeans, which also has a Scala plugin. And if you want to stay with Visual Studio, then you can use Visual Studio, but there won't be any syntax highlighting for Scala. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with a script. And I have a folder here called Creating Script Scala, delimited by underscores. And what I'm going to do is use Touch to create a script called intro script.scala. Once there, I'm going to bring this up in my editor. Just so you know, there's no Touch in Windows, so if you want to create this in the Windows operating system, then you can just go ahead and fire up an editor and create the file from there. Once I have this available, I'm going to hop over to my editor, Alt-Tab. Now, once I'm here in my editor, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open up that file that I just recently created, and I'm going to get started with something very simple. I'm going to do a print line for all the Java programmers coming in. There's no system.out.println. We just head straight towards it and do a print line. I'm going to do an open paren and a quote and stay here that Scala is amazingly concise. Close the quote, close the paren, and we're good to go. For Java programmers, you'll notice something is missing, the semicolon. No need for a semicolon in Scala. I save the file, and we're good to go. I'm going to Alt-Tab over to the terminal. Once I'm here in the terminal now, I can just type in Scala, intro script Scala. Again, there's no compilation involved with this. It is going to be interpreted, it is going to run quickly, and we'll get a Scala is amazingly concise. That's how easy it is. Again, no compilation involved. Now, what if I want to create a shell script that I could run on Mac OS X or on Linux? Let's go ahead and get started with that. I'm going to create a script called intro script.sh. Not a Scala extension, but a .sh extension. Now, I'm going to head to my editor. Here in my editor, I'm going to edit the file called intro script.sh. And for the first line, I'm going to include a hash and a bang. And I'm going to specify that I want to use sh for the shell script. The next line, I'm going to specify that for this particular script, I wish to execute Scala. This funny argument that I'm going to type here specifies the name of the file. And this next funny argument that I have here is going to be for all of the arguments for this particular script. I'm going to close things up with bang and hash. Once I'm done with this 3-line prefix, I'm going to go about this using just plain Scala. So I'm going to do a print line, and again, specify that Scala is amazingly concise. Close the quote, close the paren, and I'm going to save the file. And that's all there is to it. With that 3-line header, that's enough information to provide for our shell script to run as a script. So let me head over to the terminal. Now that I'm here, there's one adjustment I need to make. I need to make sure that this particular file that I just wrote is executable. So I'm going to chmod +x, which turns the flag on to make it executable, introscript.sh. Now I can just run this just like any other shell script. And as we see here, it specifies that Scala is amazingly concise. That's how easy it is. It's a fast setup, and once you become familiar with the language, this might be your preferred scripting language for days to come.